Tren de Aragua.
Tren de Aragua.
Tren de Aragua.
Tren de Aragua.
Notorious Venezuelan street gang, Tren de Aragua.
I've actually described Tren de Aragua as MS-13 on steroids.
Tren de Aragua. Who are they? And why was one of their vessels targeted by a US strike in international waters off the coast of Venezuela? On September 3rd, 2025, the Trump administration and the Department of Defense released the following footage. The footage shows a US military strike using an AGM-114 Hellfire missile to neutralize a Venezuelan Tren de Araguan vessel and 11 of its members, all Venezuelan citizens, in international waters. While sudden to some, the strike follows months of escalating rhetoric and military build-up between the United States and Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, including last month's announcement of a $50 million USD bounty on information leading to Maduro's arrest. Over the past weeks, the US military has rapidly assembled a significant strike package off the Venezuelan coast. Officially, the force is conducting a counter-narcotics operation targeting Tren de Aragua and their trafficking of fentanyl into the US. But the scale of the hardware deployed raises questions about the limited scope of that objective. According to open source intelligence expert Ian Ellis, the US has deployed 4 Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, 1 Los Angeles-class fast attack submarine, the Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group including thousands of Marines, and significant air assets including the MQ-9 Reaper drones, the drones that were used in this most recent strike. The scale of this force, combined with the stated goal of targeting narcotics, raises big questions. Who exactly are Tren de Aragua? What connections might Venezuelan government have with the group? And finally, is it plausible that all of these military assets are deployed for such a limited objective? Being founded in 2014, Tren de Aragua's origins date back only a decade, yet the gang has rapidly grown to a massively influential criminal entity. Originating in Tocaron prison in Venezuela's state of Aragua, the gang has expanded operations across Latin America and beyond. Founded and led by Nino Guerrero, the gang initially used Tocaron prison as a de facto headquarters. After seizing control from the local authorities, the facility became a fully equipped compound with a swimming pool, bars, restaurants, playgrounds, a baseball stadium, and even a zoo. In 2023, the Venezuelan government launched a massive operation to retake the prison, deploying over 11,000 soldiers and police. Upon retaking the facility, authorities discovered a massive weapons cache, including rifles, handguns, anti-tank grenades, rockets, C4 explosives, and over 400,000 rounds of ammunition of varying calibers. The gang has been linked to a wide range of crimes across the Americas, but its main activities include arms trafficking, bribery, illegal mining, kidnappings, and most notoriously, its dominant role in drug and human trafficking throughout South America. Over the past decade, the gang has rapidly expanded its operation beyond Venezuela, establishing a presence in Argentina, Chile, Peru, and the United States. In the US, the group's influence has increasingly drawn media attention, reflecting its growing footprint in the country. The gang has exploited the mass migration of Venezuelans fleeing the Maduro regime as cover to move its members and expand its influence into the United States. In the United States, the gang has grown a notable presence in New York and Chicago, being linked to various shootings, street robberies, extortion, and drug dealings. Initially, the United States responded with the 2024 Treasury Department sanctions and formally designating the gang as a transnational criminal organization. However, following the 2024 election, in which Donald Trump highlighted the gang's notoriety to support his anti-immigration policies, his administration signed an executive order designating various drug cartels, including Tren de Aragua, as foreign terrorist organizations. This move significantly expanded federal action, including increased ICE operations targeting suspected gang members. This designation also drew the gang more attention from the media and sparked multiple incidents that attracted international criticism. The most notable case involved the deportation of Andre Jose Hernandez Romero, a Venezuelan makeup artist, pending an asylum ruling in the US. The Trump administration insisted it had sufficient evidence that he was a member of the Tren de Aragua gang. However, reports later suggested that the only justification for his deportation was the presence of 2 crown tattoos. The Maduro government has often been accused of maintaining strong ties with Tren de Aragua and other cartels. The US State Department has repeatedly claimed that Maduro participated in a corrupt and violent narco-terrorism conspiracy, provided weapons to cartels, and coordinated narcotics trafficking. A reported FBI memo suggests that Maduro's regime also directly facilitated the migration of gang members from Tren de Aragua to the US in order to destabilize American public security, with the Trump administration directly calling Maduro a narco-terrorist. Even Maduro's legitimacy as the Venezuelan leader has come into question time and time again, with it being widely believed that election results in Venezuela have been largely fraudulent. The stated US reason for this military build-up is purely counter-narcotics. The US likely does have legitimate concern regarding narcotics trafficking, including that from Tren de Aragua. Additionally, Tren de Aragua's rapidly growing influence and operations in the United States, particularly its operations concerning drug and human trafficking, do present a significant social and security risk to the US public. This risk is only substantially increased given the group's state-backed support directly from the Maduro regime. Whilst having said that, I believe there is likely a lot more at play. US strategic interests. There are several significant strategic reasons for the US to want to project its power in the region. One is to issue a warning to the Maduro regime and to protect its sphere of influence through a show of force, in essence using gunboat diplomacy. Both historically and now, Maduro has taken a strong oppositional stance towards the US, and Venezuela maintains close ties with traditional US adversaries such as China, Russia, and Iran. This is evident in real time, with China condemning the US military build-up and strikes off the Venezuelan coast, whilst Venezuela has procured and threatened the use of Iranian and Russian-made drones against US forces. Venezuela's alignment with other global powers poses a strategic challenge to the US, particularly in Latin America, a region that is traditionally considered to be within the US sphere of influence. A regime change in Venezuela from a staunch anti-US figure to one more favourable to the West would be an extreme strategic advantage for the United States. Additionally, the show of force works to ensure US allies in the region, particularly those in El Salvador, and even more importantly in Guyana, a nation that has recently come under threat from Venezuela, the Venezuelan government claiming ownership over significant oil-rich regions that are currently administrated and recognized as a Guyanan territory. This also follows the growing relationship between the US and Guyana, with the country joining with the US in joint maritime patrols in order to counter drug trafficking near its border with Venezuela, an operation that in part is targeted at Tren de Aragua. Overall, it's likely the operation is aimed at both counter-narcotics, but also securing US regional influence through a show of force. Whilst the US would definitely stand to benefit from a regime change in Venezuela, direct US intervention still seems very unlikely. That being said, in this rapidly evolving geopolitical climate, literally anything is possible. Thanks heaps for watching this summary on Tren de Aragua and the rapidly evolving situation off the coast of Venezuela. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and again, thanks for watching.